Okay, YouTube land. Somebody commented on one of my videos about something. I want to just go into a little explanation here. He'd say it's wintertime. We had rain, then sleet immediately after rain, then the sleet within 2 hours turned into snowflakes. Okay, as you can see, it's varying depths depending on the wind blow, but it's all ice underneath. Now, one thing a lot of people do very foolishly is they take their wiper arms before it snows and they pull these things all the way up. Well, most wiper arms this style here have a spring inside there. Your older muscle car wiper arms had different configurations. Some had 2 arms with a pivot, and a lot were replaced with a different style, and people used to do swapping and stuff, and you'd end up with one style on one side, one style on the other, or replacement wiper arms for various reasons. Anyways, these are both the Ford factory original wiper arms. As far as I know, they've never been replaced. My brother's wife's brother was the second owner. My brother was the third, and I'm the fourth owner on this. So, going back to the second owner, as far as he could recall, as far as my brother could recall, those have never been replaced. And they got paint mist, and they started surface rust in areas where the galvanizing's worn through. So I tend to believe it. Now, somebody commented on my wiper arm video that, my Rain-X and Bosch wiper video driving down the highway, that the right wiper is not wiping the windshield correctly. That has nothing to do with the type wiper arms. Hang on a minute. Yeah, sorry about that. When I tried to put my glove back on, paused it, could not restart it, and somehow the thing turned off, so I'll have to edit this together later. But people around here, they get this bright idea. You take these things and you stand them straight up in the air before it snows. Well, that is a very bad idea, because even though there's a pivot right there and there's that spring in there, the reason wiper arms like these have a spring in them is so when your wipers come off the windshield, once you've got them busted free, they can ride over this ice, they can ride over frozen bird poop if it's hard, clump of mud on your windshield, and not come to a stop. And why is that important? When your wiper arms come up so far and they come to a stop, quite often what happens is your wiper drivetrain, which is the linkages and these stubs here, will suffer a malfunction. Some cars, it will strip out the inside of the wiper arm right here where the drive goes in. And this one here has just got a tab that retains it in. You plop that tab up, and or that tab there, and then that wiper arm will come off. Some have you pull the cap up and there's a nut under there, and you take the nut off. And on some of those, to actually get them off without destroying things, it's best to use a side post battery terminal remover, and I got 2 different kinds. And I used to have to do that on my 1998 Buick Century, because every so often the driver's side hub something would come and it would stop it, and that would affect the park switch. It bends the park switch, and then your wipers park up here on those W cars like that. And every time you shut them off, they park up here. And sometimes you end up with them fighting. Well, this here, I'm not sure what the failure point is, but there's a failure point, and these are a lot harder to get at. But anyways, back to my point. If you leave these things up in the air, sticking off your windshield at an angle like that, what happens is it weakens that spring. Okay, then your wiper blades just dance across your windshield, and they don't take off heavy rain. They won't take off a little bit of frost. They won't take the dew off your windshield. And it's not your wiper blades that are a problem. It's the fact that your springs have been overstretched and they're done for. When I had a bunch of GM new old stock wiper blades that I was selling on eBay, that was the reason that 99% were being replaced. That, or they were stripped out internally, the splines, even though on the GM ones, you got the stud that comes up through there with the nut, they're still splined. And if one starts slipping, it will tear the aluminum splines out of the wiper arm before it tears the splines off the drive on the car, 9 out of 10 times. So sometimes you get them where they've been replaced before, or somebody's had them on and off a few different times, and it's just too worn out. And sometimes you get wiper arms like these, and they're keyed in position. They'll have a spline, and they'll also have a key in there too. And people try to force them in the winter time, and they'll break that key off there. Then your wiper motor runs, your wiper transmission's moving, the linkage is moving, but your wiper arms aren't. It's better to come out here and just break the ice and snow off around these, defog the windshield a little bit, and do it like that. Then just have those things sticking up in the air, because you're shortening the lifespan of your wiper arms from, these are 21-year-old originals, to a year or less before they're completely garbage. And if you did it with these, I guarantee you the driver's side one would be garbage in less than 2 months. Come spring, it'd have to be replaced. Now, these are on my repair list eventually, but they're far down on there. The passenger side one lifts off at a certain point. It did it with the other wiper blades on there. It's not the wiper blade, it's the arm. At this point in time, unless I come across some new old stock ones, or come across some place that are very, very reasonable, I'm not purchasing any right now. It's not something that absolutely has to be changed today, this week, this month, this year. So I've got bigger fish to fry, so to speak, with this truck, other repairs I want to do, and so I'll concentrate my effort on that, and I'll keep a lookout for one in case I find it and decide to change it. Alright, that's all for now. Talk to you later, YouTube. Okay, YouTube, I was going to go ahead and shoot more video once the truck warmed up, and when I was shooting earlier and had it running, I had the blower motor on, but I did not have it on defrost. I had it on floor heat. So I turned it on defrost after I made that video, and I was going to finish shoveling my area of my driveway, and just show you the wipers break free of the windshield, and using the Rain-X washer fluid. Well, I took the scraper to it after I came back after a few minutes, and just took the brush side, pretty much brushed the snow off most of the windshield, and the ice had gone, and I just used the scraper edge on the wipers, and they were free. But I was getting ready to make another video, and one of my neighbors turned in from the main street, and his right rear tire caught deeper snow. He hit his brakes. His anti-lock brakes spazzed on him. It's a Chrysler POS front-wheel drive wannabe minivan, Chrysler Pacifica. And he got 90 degrees sideways, and if he would have been in another 50 feet, he would have hit a car. He was, with where he was, he just managed to, there were no cars there. But if he'd been in another 50 feet, or somebody would have parked their car over at the edge like they do sometimes, he would have hit a car. So I went over to the entrance, and I started shoveling that off as much as I can. We got rain, then sleet, then snow. So there was rainwater pooled on the ground when the sleet started, which that just forms ice. And then you put snow on top. So you have stuff that's freezing in the ice, and you're putting snow on top. And in places it drifted in that part of the parking lot it's over 6 inches deep in places. The wind blows it, and where there's low spots, it fills them, but it also humps it up and mounds it. And wind does weird things with snow, just like it does with sand. You can get snow drifts against something. And I went across, I went over there and I did the entrance, and then I went to the guy across the street from me, catty corner where I park, over to his place, and I shoveled the snow out from around his car. But his car, he left last night, sometime in the middle of the night, and come back, and he parked his car right in the middle of the snowdrift. He's got a GM front-wheel drive car, and the snow, excuse me here, I'm switching hands. The snow is up to the rocker panels underneath the vehicle. So I can't get my shovel under the car and drag all the snow out. Which means, that car could very well end up being high-centered. But I took the snow around the car because the guy has difficulties walking. And I shoveled the snow on both sides of the car, back so far so he could get into his passenger side door if he needs to, or get in and out of his driver's side doors if he needs to. I shoveled behind the car as well as I could, but there's two big mounds of ice where the tire tracks are. And I can't shovel through that. When snow compacts like that and there's slush involved and it freezes harder, the snow shovel I use is not going to go through that with ease, and I'm not destroying the snow shovel. I did that for that guy just as a favor. Don't expect anything from him for doing it. Also, shoveled out behind another neighbor's pickup truck, and the one neighbor's door and his door, they have a kind of a shared common area, and they have a walk path that they both use. And I just went over there and just did that just because I could, and they're both elderly, semi-disabled folks. But that's what happened to me making another part of the video. I'm going to edit this together. Anyways, well, the video I was trying to make was to tell you, stop taking your windshield wipers and standing up when it's going to snow. You're better off leaving your wipers down and breaking them free of the windshield, out of the ice, than you are doing that. Because what it does is it takes that spring in there and it runs it. You're not ever supposed to have those things up at 90-degree angles other than to change the wiper blades. Because those style wiper arms, the springs hold tension onto the wiper blades, and that's what holds your wiper blades tight against your windshield. But if you got a clump of mud, hardened bird poop, or other debris on your windshield, or say you got a chunk of ice midway through your windshield, say you were parked under something that it dripped in one spot and it formed a ice blob on one part of your windshield. That spring allows that wiper arm to ride over it and come back down, and then come up and then back over the obstacle and back down. I talk with my hands, unfortunately, folks, so you can't see all of it because I'm doing this and I'm going over the camera. But anyways, it'll go up to the obstacle, go over the obstacle, and come back down. So that's why the spring is there. It is not for putting your wipers up at 90 degrees for snow. Doing that runs the spring. If you got the kind that don't go up at 90 degrees and you buy those stupid wedge blocks or make wedges and put them up, you're still running the spring. And unfortunately, my cat's got allergies, and I'm not sure exactly what he's allergic to, but poor kitten does have allergies. So stop doing it, because you are destroying your parts. Don't make things worse on your car. Try to take care of it. My Explorer, 21 years old, has the original wiper arms. And yes, after 21 years, they need replaced. No, I have not found a deal on new old stock ones. I bought some new old stock Ford ones, but there weren't any for Explorer in there. Later, y'all.